Hello, my dear friends. It's Fox. Welcome back to another evening of shared stories and adventures. Tonight, we find ourselves stepping away from the gaslit streets of London and the drawing rooms of the aristocracy to venture into the humid, tangled heart of the South American jungle. We are joining the visionary H.G. Wells on a journey that is less about space machines or time travelers and more about something far closer to home, yet infinitely more strange. Tonight's episode is titled Secret Life of Ants. Imagine you are sitting in a leather armchair, the rain tapping gently against the window pane, a warm lamp casting a pool of light over your hands. The world outside is dark, but here, you are safe. Let your mind drift to the banks of the Rio San Juan, where the air is thick with heat, and the silence is broken only by the hum of insects. Listen closely. The smallest things often hold the biggest secrets. Story 1. The Empire of the Ants by H.G. Wells. The yacht Sea Snake lay anchored in the mouth of the Rio San Juan, rolling gently in the swell of the Caribbean. The heat was intense, a physical weight that pressed down upon the shoulders. Holroyd, the owner of the yacht, sat in the stern wiping his brow with a silk handkerchief. He was a man of substantial means, accustomed to comfort, and this expedition into the wilds of Central America had already begun to try his patience. "It is a god-forsaken place," Holroyd remarked, looking at the dense wall of vegetation that lined the riverbank. "I fail to see what you expect to find here, Potter." Potter, a man of smaller stature but with eyes that burned with a restless intensity, leaned against the railing. He was a naturalist of sorts, though his methods were often considered unconventional by the scientific community. "I expect to find everything," Potter replied, his voice low. "This river is the artery of a continent that remains largely unmapped. There are species here that have never been classified. There are resources that could change the economy of nations, and there are dangers that we cannot yet imagine." Holroyd sighed. "Dangers, I understand. Mosquitoes, fever, snakes. I am prepared for those. But you speak as if there is something else." "There is." Potter turned to look at him. "I have heard stories from the locals. Stories of villages wiped out, not by disease or war, but something else. Something that moves across the land like a black tide." Holroyd laughed, a short, dismissive sound. "Superstition. The natives believe in spirits for everything. A storm is a spirit, a drought is a spirit. Why should a plague of insects be any different?" "Because," Potter said, "I have seen the evidence. Not stories. Evidence." He reached into his pocket and produced a small glass vial. Inside, preserved in alcohol, was an ant. But it was unlike any ant Holroyd had ever seen. It was large, nearly an inch in length, with mandibles that looked like serrated knives. "Look at the size of it," Potter said, "and look at the structure of the mandibles. They are not designed for carrying seeds or tending aphids. They're designed for cutting, for warfare." Holroyd took the vial, holding it up to the light. "It is large, I grant, but there are large ants in many parts of the world. The driver ants of Africa, instance." "These are not driver ants," Potter insisted. "Their organization is different. Their intelligence is different. I believe, Holroyd, that we are on the verge of discovering a species that rivals man in its capacity for organization, and that is a thought that should give you pause." Holroyd handed the vial back, unconvinced but intrigued despite himself. "You propose to travel up the river to find the source of these creatures?" "I do," Potter said. "Will you come with me?" Holroyd looked at the darkening jungle, then back at the comfort of his yacht. He thought of the cold beer waiting in the icebox, the clean sheets of his cabin. But he also thought of the look in Potter's eyes. It was the look of a man who has seen something that changes the world and cannot rest until others see it too. "Very well," Holroyd said, "but if we are eaten by cannibals or struck down by fever, I shall hold you personally responsible.